Welcome to Watches with Dennis, and as my ridiculous title suggests, today I want to talk about a pet peeve of mine, and that is when YouTube watch videos in their titles refer to watches that they're looking at as Rolex killers. And if you don't think that's common in terms of an occurrence on YouTube, think again. My issue with this is that the claim is disingenuous on its very surface. Anyone who is deeply into the watch hobby as a collector or an enthusiast already knows there is no such thing as a Rolex killer. So direct claims that a watch is one are clearly false. And even rhetorical questions like, could this be a Rolex killer, I think are equally pointless because the answer is already a clear no. Now, note, I'm not talking about whether or not any given watch is better or worse than Rolex. So we could be talking specifications, we could be talking aesthetics, we could be talking about value. I'm not addressing that. I'm merely talking about where Rolex is in the global psyche of luxury watches. For example, does Ming use a design language on their watches that takes more chances than modern Rolex? I say yes, but that doesn't make it a Rolex killer. Does Omega exceed many technical specifications at a lower price point than a similarly matched Rolex? I say yes, but that does not make it a Rolex killer. Does JLC exhibit greater craftsmanship and movement know-how than Rolex? I say yes, but that does not make it a Rolex killer. Does Grand Seiko offer more refined cases and dials than Rolex? I say yes, but again, that does not make it a Rolex killer. Rolex is a behemoth, both of its own making and the making of society at large. And by society, I mean worldwide society. The cachet of the name Rolex is so well cultivated at this point that even if Rolex stopped advertising entirely, I'm not sure they would slip from their number one position. Again, this isn't a question about which watches are best, but saying the word Rolex, no matter where you are, almost assuredly guarantees that the listener will think of luxury watches. And if you ask someone who's not a collector to name a luxury watch, any luxury watch, many non-collectors will almost assuredly say Rolex as their first choice, if that's not the only choice that they happen to know. Collectors who dive into the details on YouTube and other places will, of course, have different thoughts on what is the ideal watch and what is the ideal watch company. But that is not the discussion here. To the public, Rolex is the top luxury watch brand. And all the YouTube channels covering other watch brands know this. So when they go and they describe something as a Rolex killer, particularly in the title of their videos, when we all know it isn't true, is really not doing any sort of public service in the hobby. It's just driven by the YouTube algorithm and a desire to get people who are looking for Rolex videos to watch something unrelated. And because the answer is so obvious, this is a pet peeve of mine. I actually respect it far more when YouTube videos that have nothing to do with Rolex actually just say "not Rolex" in the title. It's still an attempt to exploit the YouTube algorithm, but at least the statement is honest to the viewers. Anyway, it's just a pet peeve of mine that I really wanted to get off my chest, and I was curious what your all thoughts are. Do you disagree with me? Do you think maybe there is a Rolex killer out there? If so, comment below. I'd really like to hear your thoughts about that. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like. It helps me out in YouTube's algorithm. And likewise, you can click the subscribe button if you'd like to be notified when I have new videos. Otherwise, take care, everybody.